I've told this anecdote before, but the most important moment in my mind in the history of Facebook occurred in July of 2006. The company had been around for about 2 years. At the time, it was still just a college site. There were maybe 8 or 9 million people on the site. The revenues were, I think, tracking to about 30 million, no profits. And we received an acquisition offer from Yahoo for $1 billion. And so we had the board meeting on Monday morning in July 2006. There were 3 of us on the board: Zuckerberg, myself, Jim Breyer, and you know, full disclosure, I think that both Breyer and myself, on balance, thought we probably should take the money and run. But you know, Zuckerberg started the meeting, and first thing he said was, well, you know, it's kind of a formality. We have to have a quick board meeting. It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. You know, we're obviously not going to sell here. And then we said, well, you know, we should actually talk about this a little bit more. You know, $1 billion is a lot of money. And we, in some ways, rehashed the entire discussion we had today here. It was sort of like, you know, you own like 25% of the company. There's so much you could do with all the money you'd make. Well, I don't really know what I'd do with the money. You know, I'd just start another social networking site. But I kind of like the one I already have, so why should I sell? And it was in some ways sort of an encapsulation of this entire discussion. And of course, you know, you never sort of, you know, the immediate aftermath was that there was, you know, an almost, you know, infinite number of, not infinite, but there was sort of a large number of, you know, sort of stories about how, you know, how in the world could you have a CEO who was so crazy that he wouldn't sell the company, who didn't know that you should take $1 billion. This is what you got when you had someone who was 22 years old, when you didn't have any adults in the company. You know, it probably, you know, it was just the worst decision anybody had ever made. The best ration, you know, I was a little bit worried about it. We had our, you know, the sort of Founders Fund ideology we had was that we should always back the CEO, we should always back the founder, and so, you know, we just went with that as a framework. But I think sort of the one partial rationalization I was able to come up with for not taking the money was that I looked at the history, and Yahoo had there had been 2 other companies where they'd offered $1 billion that had been turned down. It was eBay and Google, and so I concluded that at least you could actually make a pseudo-scientific argument that every case where someone had been offered $1 billion and had rejected it, it had been the correct thing to do. But I do think this is, but the argument that Zuckerberg finally came down on was that there were all these new things that we were going to build at Facebook, and it was clear that Yahoo wasn't valuing any of the products that had not yet been released. And he wanted to have a chance to build those products. And since he was pretty confident that Yahoo had, and I don't want to, this is not an anti-Yahoo thing, this is, I think would be true of almost all these companies, that they had no definite idea about the future and therefore did not properly value things that did not yet exist. They were therefore undervaluing the business. And I think this is sort of the challenge all of us have, is to work towards a future that's not just static, like a dead channel on television, but that's a definite future, and that is a radically better future that can motivate and coordinate and inspire a number of people to change the world and to go to a world where luck is something for us to overcome and to deal with as we go along the way, but not for something that becomes this absolute dominating force that stops all thought before it even starts. Thank you very much, and I'm not going to say best of luck. Thank you.